Alrighty. Hello everybody, welcome back. We are continuing with this process. Okay, so I'd like to actually get the merchant code up and running. And you know what? What I realized is because we're not using the inventory slot, we don't have to subject ourselves to the whole inventory storage type system. We can just do, let's see. Let's see. Where is our inventory? Inventory. There's the inventory. We could just say, cool, we just have the inventory. Okay. And then anytime we're talking to the inventory, we don't need storage. There we go. Afternoon, 1 p.m. here. Good evening, 10 p.m. here. Yeah. Okay. So this looks fine. And now we can go here. We don't need the storage. Don't need the storage. Don't need the storage. Don't eat the storage. Cool. Nice. Now, I want to give... I want to give the NPC the amounts for these items. Okay, so empty bottle. We need to somehow supply the minimum and the maximum amount of this item that we're allowed to have. Don't need the storage. We don't need the storage. That's for the player, and I don't want to deal with it every time. Okay, can we... Is there like a shortcut to only place one? Nope. Okay, so we're going to turn this into arrays. And then this way we can supply that it can have anywhere between 1 and 3 of this item. Okay. Oh, hello. Okay, let's not zoom in that far away. Okay, charcoal. Well. The typing is so laggy sometimes. 3 and 5. Rocks, 2 and 6. And then raw meat, 2 and 4. Cloth, 3 and... I guess 1 and 4. Cool. Okay. So, now that we have this, here's what I want to do. I want to also try to use one item that has a max stack of 0 or 1. Axe. Here we go. Because the system needs to be aware of items that are non-stackable. Although... We could allow the merchant inventory to stack multiple items, multiple of the same item, even though that one item cannot be stacked multiple times. Or we don't. Or we say we need to say if the character has 2 axes, then they have to be placed into 2 separate slots. Okay. Clean water 1. Let's say 1 to 5. So everything has at least 1 item. Okay. So when we're going through this, we shuffled the list of items. Okay. We say pick first 4 items to spawn. Now let's do between Randy, let's do 3 at minimum, and plus another 3. So Randy percentage sign 4 can generate one of 4 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus 3 gives us 6. This is going to run 6 times. Now, this is the tricky part, because we need to place as many items as we need to spawn. Okay, so we might have to delegate this to only selecting the first 4 items, but for this one, where we choose which slot we delegate this to, we might have to make it be separate. Okay, let's do var next slot index. Start with 0. We're going to supply it here. And after it's done doing this, we're going to plus equals 1. Okay? Now, actually, it's this one. Slot number. Yes, this one. And this means this stays as X. Because this selects the random item, we duplicate the data, and we place it into the inventory under the next slot. But the slots have been shuffled, so they're going to be random as well. Okay. Now, we need to decide, choose how many of the item to spawn. So var item amount. Let's do rand I range. Now, we now have this, the array that says minimum and maximum. So we're going to do this. We're going to use X to access the item. And then we're going to use value number 1 and value number 2 in order to access this value number 1, value number 2. Value number 0 is the item key. Okay, now check if this item is... okay, so we have items that can be stacked, we have items that cannot be stacked. The difference is the max stack property. If it's 1, then only one of this item can be in the slot. So I think we need to launch a secondary loop. So actually, no. Do we need to launch secondary loop? How are we going to do this? Check if this item is single stack or multi-stack. So let's do this. If we access the master node item database like this, if max stack is 1, then it means only 1 can be placed here. So for each single stack item, place it into a slot. Excuse me. Oof. Man. Okay. For each single stack slot item, place it into a slot. So we do for y in, and I guess we need to know how many times we're going to be inserting this item. So that's this many times. And what we're going to do here is quite literally we're going to do this, except at the end of each iteration, we're going to add +1. Okay, move to next shuffled empty slot. Cool. Now, else, if this is not a single stack item, if this is a stackable item, then we need to calculate how many slots will we require. So, okay. Figure out how many slots are required. And to do that, we're gonna slots needed. We're gonna take the number that we decided to add, divide it by the total number of allowed in the stack, max stack, and then we need to make sure that this is a float, at least one of them is a float, but then after we need to ceiling it, which is rounded upwards. And this tells us how many slots needed. So for that, we're going to do for y in how many slots are needed. And once again, we need to do this. And we're going to have to increment the slot by 1. But after we add the item to the slot, we have to set amount to what? Well, we have to set the amount, I suppose, to the max stack. So we do this, or technically we just borrow this. So we set the amount to the max stack, but if this is the last item in the stack, only place the, or if this is the last item to be generated, only place the remainder. Okay. So if the stackable item, it can only stack maximum of 5, and we're giving it 13, then there's going to be 2 full stacks and 1 remainder. So, how do we know if it's the remainder? Well, we're going to check if the current y value is the same as slots needed minus 1. That's important, because if slots needed is 3, for loop is going to do set up y to be 0, 1, and 2. So this is 3 minus 1 becomes 2. If y is the last number from this, then the amount... Now, is it amount or is it stack? It's stack. Okay, we got to be careful about that. Stack. Then the stack is going to be equals to what? Well, the stack is going to be equals to the remainder. But what if it's the remainder right away? Then technically this is 0. And if this is 1, then minus 1 becomes 0, so this matches it. But if this is 0, okay, so the math, I think the math checks out. So we can say to know the remainder, we have to say take the maximum stack that is allowed and then subtract from it the amount that we decided to spawn or actually, it's the amount we decided to spawn minus the current iteration multiplied by the maximum stack. So if the amount we decided to spawn is 7, but the item can only have 5 in one stack, there's going to be 2 slots that are involved. So the first slot is going to get the maximum stack amount. The second slot, because it's the last one, it's going to say, okay, well, it's however many we wanted to put in, which is 7, minus the maximum stack times how many slots we've already populated. Which technically this y would tell us how many slots we've already populated. And I think that's it. I think that's all that we need. Okay, I've never done this before. I've always done like 1 by 1, which is kind of lame, but it works and it's easy to understand, so... Okay. Well, if not, maybe we'll do that. Okay, and I think that's it. I think this populates all the items necessary. Now, to double check this, I'm going to go into the merchant item slot, and we're going to give it a label. Dang it. Control A to new node, label. Okay, we're going to go theme overrides, colors. Give me a font color that's easy to see on top of everything. Okay. Nice. Cool. And then this is a test amount label. We're going to go to the code of the generic character. And then when it's instantiating the slot, with generic NPC technically, when it's instantiating the slot, we're going to talk to this node, test amount label, set the text to be a stringified version of stack. Okay, that should help us tell if it's working. And it's not working. Okay. Invalid index empty bottle base dictionary. Oh, right. We have to access the key using 0 now. Okay, this is also gonna have to be 0. Pretty much any place where we're trying to access the key of it, we have to modify it to use value 0. Yeah, because value 0 is this value right here. That's 0, that's 1, that's 2. Okay. Okay, all right. So 1, 3, 3, 3 stakes, 1 rock. Cool. So it seems like it's working. I'm going to remove the amount and then make the mouse ignore, which it already is. Okay, so if that's working, then what do we need to do? Well, then we need to make the purchasing work. Okay. So to make the purchasing work, I suppose we can give it an input event, or actually we can do a button down. That's perfect. Okay, now if we're doing button down, it might be a good idea to let the slot know what number it is. My slot num, which we can actually, we can do this. Export variable, get parent, get children. Among the children, we'll find self, and then the find function gives us an integer, which is the position of what we're looking for, and that should be the slot number. Okay, so when we press the button down, it will need to access, it will need to check if the player has enough of a currency. It will need to take that currency, it will need to grant the player one of the item, and it will need to remove one of the item from the inventory of the character. So I think what we should do is make a variable, my merchant equals null. We're going to pop back into the generic NPC, and when it's creating the slot, the new slot, my merchant, will be set to self, which is the NPC who's calling this function. This is not a variable. Nice. So now the NPC should be recorded into the slot number. Cool. Check if player has enough currency. Okay. Now, check if player has enough currency. If this is the generic NPC, we should have an updated player reference. I would imagine so. Anytime we'd like to enter the script. There we go. Now, player node. Now, where do we populate this? Interact. Which I suppose is okay. So, player node. But it's not available here. It's available in the merchant. So do my merchant dot player node. We need to talk to the player and then ask, do you have enough of this item? Now, if I remember correctly, we might have already made a function in the master node specifically for this job. It's like, check if the player has an X amount of this particular item. If that is the case, then, hot dang, we could just use that. Where's my master node? There's my master node. All right, what do we got? Give item, take item, check item. Item key, item amount. And then it returns false or true. Cool, so we got it. Gets the player, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Check item, item key, item amount. Right, so we go back here. We say if master node dot check item. The item key is going to be the name of the, what is it? The light crystal something something. Light gem. Okay, so if the light gem amount, item cost. We're going to have to go to the generic NPC, and then if the item is valid, new slot dot item cost. We're going to have to go to the inventory, get the item, and then value is what we're going to be using here. Okay. Value. So how do we get this value? Well, we do master node. Or we could technically just talk to my merchant dot inventory and then access my item. No, we can access my slot number. And then from that slot item, we can do value. And then we gotta check if my item ID is not null. So we only do this if there's a valid item in the slot. Okay. Now this is going to check if the player has enough of the currency. Now if we have a check function, we have also a take function. Okay. Player does not have enough of this item to take. So even though we have this check and we've already done another check, I think that's fine. We could just use this. Let's go here. Oop, not here. Item cost. We don't actually need to pass along the item cost. Because we grabbed it from here. Yeah, so we don't actually need this. Okay, so if the player has enough, then we are going to take this much. And then this should pass because we had this check before. We know this is in the master node. And now we need to give the player this item. So give item spawn item. Give note, adjust stat. Give item. Okay. First, find available slot. Find a player already has this item. Check if there's still an amount remaining. If this command is set to spawn a new item. Spawn if no space. Okay, so there's a function, or there's a parameter that we explicitly added here, which basically tells if the player doesn't have an available inventory slot to give them the item, then spawn it in front of them. So give item, and then it's true by default, so we technically just need to populate this. Okay, now we're going to be doing this one at a time. So the item key is going to be my item ID. And then this is a master node thing. So once again, we made a bunch of functions, check if the item is there, take the item, however many of that must be required, and then give an item. And we're just calling these functions anytime we need to do the same operation. No need to reprogram it. It's just always there. No problemo. Okay, now reduce this item in merchant by 1. Okay, so now we're gonna do my merchant inventory slot number stack. We're gonna subtract it by 1, and then if the stack has reached 0, we're gonna tell my merchant to erase. Is that a thing? It has been a while. Dictionary. It's probably remove. Let's see. Erase the key. Look at that. Erase. The key we'd like to erase is the item under the slot number. Okay. I think that should do it. Okay. Whoops, I'm in the fire. Okay, and then we crashed. Now, why did we crash? Cannot call method get children on a null value. Oh, export. Excuse me, this has to be on ready. So this runs only when the ready function has finished doing its job, so that all the nodes exist. There we go. Okay, so click. Nope. Click. Oh, right. We don't have the gems. There we go. Click. Nice. Click. Beautiful. So that's 10. Interesting. Well, I guess balancing. We haven't done any of the balancing, so right now it's kind of ridiculous. Okay, that's 15. Okay. Oh. Okay, so that's a crash. Why did we crash? Invalidate index 8 on base dictionary. Uh-huh. The NPC ran out of the item. However, this didn't account for it. So my item ID not being null is not a valid way to check for this. And there you go. This is pointless because as long as we know which slot we are, we can get the item ID. We can also check if the NPC still has any of that item. So this code is actually going to look a heck of a lot more similar to the generic inventory slot, which is probably why initially I figured, let's just use the inventory slot for this. But it's not going to actually be doing anywhere near as much stuff as this slot. So we're going to do this. My item ID can go away. We're going to also go to the generic NPC and get rid of my item ID. That is not important. It has populated icon, price, label amount. Yeah. Why aren't the counters in the items updated in the merchant? Because they were set only once here, and they haven't been updated since. I didn't put any update code because I figured the merchant will just have an infinite of this item. But that's, I changed my mind. I figured, okay, there's a limited amount so that you can't, farm or spam a particular item. NPCs have a limited number of some item, but because of that, we actually have to do this within the slot now, which is not a big deal, to be honest. That's perfectly fine. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this out. Don't need this. We're going to go to the slot. Yeah. Give it a func process. Delta. And then we're going to handle this here. So what are we actually doing? Well, we're going to do... we're going to take merchant. It's like a Christmas tree here. Look at all these colors. We're going to talk to the merchant. Talk to the inventory of the merchant. Check if it has the slot number we're looking at. If it does, it's going to... Technically, we are talking to our own nodes now, so we're just going to talk to the icon, set the texture. We're going to talk to the price node, set the text, and then we're going to also set this amount label. Okay. Nice. Now, the inventory is now in the merchant. Okay, so we're going to do this, that, this. Now, the slot num is not a thing. It's my slot num. Okay. That should do it. This is for hiding the slot, so I think we can probably do it here as well. So we're going to do else hide the price. Don't need the ready function then. Okay, here, well, here we're actually going to be directly using the item data to check if the merchant has this item under this slot number in their inventory. And then if they do, well, we have to get the... I guess we could just get the data from the merchant himself in this particular case. So if they have the item, go to the merchant, go to the inventory, access the slot number, get their name of the item, populate it here. Info box, text. Cool. Now, we need also the same check here when the button is pressed. The item ID has to be fetched now. My slotnum.id. Okay. Merchant slot number, remove 1 from the stack, check if it's 0, and if it's not, erase it, and then I guess we go back here, because if there is no item, icon texture is going to be set to null. Price text, well, yeah, price text is going to be set to an empty string. Amount label. This is a debugger thing. We may or may not let the NPC display how many of the item they have left. But I feel like it might be a nice little surprise when the player just buys it a bunch of times and be like, do they have 1 more? Do they have 10 more? Who knows? Let's just keep buying it, I guess. You never know when they're going to run out. Oh, he ran out. Okay. So, who knows? I know that in Fallout, you have a clear display of how many of the item the merchant has left. Maybe the unknown would be a bit more interesting. Okay. So, right now we can't purchase it. We're going to need to communicate that to the player. This whole UI is ginormous. Okay, let's give the player some monies. So, there we go. Nice. Okay. So we can't purchase it because we don't have enough. Can we do this? Yes. Can we do this? Yes. And 1 more. And that's it. No more. Cool. That works. Okay, can we fix up the absolutely gi-freaking-normous interface? Let's see. Merchant item slot. Let's reduce this first. $80 by maybe 70. 70 by 80. Okay. Price box. Mm-hmm. The line spacing doesn't allow us to move it down, though. Style box texture. Shouldn't it be a style box empty? Because then we have content margins. We can adjust the woo. Easy. That. Okay. This 26. Let's do 20 by 20. Okay. I think that's a little bit more compact. Let's reduce this. Probably gonna have to reduce the top and bottom. And then we can do this. Yes, okay. And then this label, that's the test amount. Again, debugger. We'll consider if we want to keep it. Okay, so that is immediately going to be a lot smaller. Now we know that there's eight columns, and there's 8 by 3. So merchant slot 3, 4, 8. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I think I might want to move the price down just a little bit. So that it communicates which item it's belonging to. Okay. Cool. What else can we do? What else is we can try to reduce the dimensions of this entire panel. Let's see if I can get the 9 patch rect to behave here as well. So texture margins. So you can see where these pixels right here are starting to stretch. We just need to adjust it until it doesn't. There we go. Okay, cool. So it's 50. Now this is a symmetrical texture, so it's going to be 50 on the other side. And then same thing on the top. Okay. Now in this particular case, we have a lot more room here. So that's 136. Nice. Okay, that's way less fucky-wucky, to be honest. Let's get the top slightly closer. Okay, so top, bottom. Bottom can be even less because there's a close button here. As a matter of fact, I actually want to get the close button slightly further away. So we're gonna do this. Theme overrides. Okay, let's get that separation. Ow. Alignment. Well, that's not what I want. Wait, what? What the heck is this? There's a rich text label in here. Oh, it's for the word merchant, in case we didn't know. Do we need this? I don't think we do. We just get rid of that. Okay, cool. So now, let's reduce. There we go. We'll come up with a better styling for the button. What about on the left and right? Okay, 34. Nice. Actually, on the right, we can even reduce it slightly more. Okay. This is looking smaller. Man, the 9 patch is definitely helpful at unsodomizing the design. It's really cool. Whoa. It might be helpful. Oh, careful. Dang it. Thanks, Godot. Appreciate it. All right. From the top. Oh. Okay. I tried to run and then it crashed because I left a bunch of inventory item slots here. You know, should I maybe just keep them? Yeah. Just for like design purposes, for sizing. Okay. Talk to this dude. Cool. We saw it load, but it's a lot smaller. Hmm. You know, now that I'm kind of looking at it, do we really need this? Like, a movable inventory? Because it feels like it's a little in the way. Hmm. What I'm thinking is I could, hypothetically, make the inventory be expandable from this bottom here. So when we press the inventory button, the hotbar expands upwards, and then it gives us all of the inventory slots. Now, if I do that, I will have to go through every piece of code and remove the hotbar and backpack nesting logic because we will not need it. We haven't needed it for any other projects. This was a colossally dumbass decision. Why not just show and hide it? That's an option. If that is aesthetically sufficient for your vision, then yeah, absolutely. I tend to put a little, conceptual polish in my my sequences. Hide the hotbar, show inventory. What if you want to take something from the hotbar to the inventory? Or vice versa. Right? Because you are able to select these item slots. By the way, we are skipping 2 inventory slots. Okay. Gonna have to deal with that. Where's the player? Might as well do it now. Hotbar count. Okay. You have selected hotbar slot. We have pressed wheel up, wheel down. So this adds one. Okay, let me take a look at this. Print next hotbar slot. Let's see how many times this gets executed. This is a weird issue that I noticed between Godot 3 and Godot 4. Any sort of scroll wheels operations are performed twice. Yeah, there you go. Now why is that? This gets executed twice, but maybe that's because we need to... Oh no, it's in the input event. Man, what the heck? I had to handle the hotbar or the scroll wheel in the input event because it wouldn't work in any other place in Godot 3. Why don't we maybe do this? So if OS, or I guess time, get ticks msec, we're gonna take the current time, we're gonna subtract from it hotbar cooldown or hotbar switch cooldown. If the amount of time that has passed is over 50 milliseconds, then we allow it to take place, and then hotbar cooldown is going to be updated with the current time. And then we just need to declare this variable up top. Hotbar. There we go. Okay, that should delay it, prevent it from running twice. Cool. Nice. Yeah, that works. Fix the inventory to be between the merchant and the hotbar. Yes, that's another thing. It's just the inventory right now is just kind of all over the place. I wanted to make it movable because I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna have the inventory of the crate or chest or container, and then your inventory, and you want to maybe arrange things on the screen and move things around, but you can technically not interact with more than two containers at the same time. It's just one at a time. So there's never really more than two inventories on the screen. So there's no point. It's just kind of taking up a lot of space and it's in the way. Now, another thing is that when I was just getting into this whole shebang with inventories and hotbars and all that nonsense, I, for some reason, thought that it would be a smart idea to handle my inventory as, whatchamacallit, handle my inventory as some sort of a separate container. So I'd have a backpack, which is my inventory, and a hotbar, which is the immediately accessible. There's no difference between the hotbar and the inventory, and for some reason, I thought that I needed to separate them into two different slots. But in reality, what I later discovered as a little cheap trick at making a hotbar and the inventory is that the hotbar and the inventory basically are the same exact thing. And the only thing that is different is that in the inventory, you just delegate the first like 8 or 6 slots to be the hotbar slots, and then you hide them. So they're still there, but they're hidden. You don't see your hotbar slots in the inventory. And then the hotbar, you just have only 6 slots, and they're the first 6 slots of the inventory. In that way, I don't need to have 2 separate storage locations, one for the hotbar, one for the inventory. None of that nonsense is needed. It's literally just one single place where all the items are stored. Okay, so I have this attack cursor. All right. Can I do something to this? Inventory panel. Whew. That's awkward. Left, right, and top. Damn. The music tunes the game. Song of a Spirit, yes. So and that's what I discovered when I was working away on the Dreadtail project. Such a stupid simple system. So yeah, so now either I'm gonna be stuck with the current system, which may cause issues later down the line, or I'll bite the bullet now and then just, transition to the new system. All right, let me try something. So we have the inventory grid. Okay. That is the inventory grid. We're not going to touch that. Drag container, inventory, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Where do we got it? Hotbar. Okay, in the hotbar, we've got this. This is the top grid. Okay, then I'm going to do, what are we going to do? I think I'm going to do another grid container. Hotbar grid. We're going to call it, I think we had a name for this one as well. Inventory grid, yes. And I think there's some mechanics that are tied to that being the name of it. Okay, let's go back in here. Hotbar. Inventory. No. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So, slot. Item slot. 3, 4, oh. How many do we use? 6. Okay. Now this hotbar panel would have to be a VBox container then. Okay. And yeah, we did lose the size. Actually, that's a curious one. If we change it to a VBox container, it loses its styling. Let's change it to a panel container. And then in the panel container, we give it a VBox. And then to the VBox, we put these two grids. There we go. All right, so now that is this, everything here. This is the first slot. These are the hotbar ones. So we're gonna hide them, duplicate, unhide these ones. There we go. Now, the idea is to make this collapse. Now, how do we make it collapse? We can't. We can't unless we give it a control node. Let's see. Transform, container sizing. Control node can't obscure stuff inside of it. Oh, no, clip contents. Yes, it can. Okay. So we're going to do inventory, container. Put the inventory grid inside of it, and then clip contents, and now we don't see it. Except when we start resizing it, you can see that it's starting to scale up. But I want to take the panel container, and I want to, no, actually not this guy. I need, no, yeah, this guy. Yes, I need to make it grow upwards. So there's a property here. It's a grow direction or something. Layout direction. Layout mode. Grow. Layout direction inherited. This node is a child of a regular control node. Yeah, I know. Okay, does it have to be? It might just be like an antiquity. Yep, there we go. Hold on. Layout mode, clip contents, containers. Yeah, there we go. Container sizing, and I think we need to do... No, this is not the property. There's a different property. Layout direction. This node doesn't have a control parent. Use the appropriate layout properties depending on where you're going to put it. Well, hold on a second. It's in the canvas layer. Maybe, hold on. Maybe it's in the VBox container. Layout direction inherited. Based on locale, left to right, right to left. Okay. There has to be a grow direction. Grow direction end. Begin both. It's in the control node. So in a, which means it's a part of literally any node that inherits from control. So it's got to be under control category. I have a feeling it might be one of these things. Anchor preset to the bottom of the screen. Shrinking begin, shrink center, shrink end. Maybe this is it. So when we take this inventory container, we start expanding it. It's going to start expanding downwards. Unless vertical, shrink end. Okay, now it's still expanding downwards. I don't think it's a part of the VBox container. Layout direction. Based on locale. Nope. This isn't it. Container sizing. Ooh, okay. Does the parent container nodes how they should resize and place the node on the y-axis in a combination of the size flags. Okay, so there's still size flags somewhere. Hmm. Interesting. What is the property? We got the V-Bucks container. And we got this, which is the panel. This is the thing that actually does the expanding. Custom. Ah, I remember these. Shrink, center, expand. Yeah, but it's gotta expand in the opposite direction. Oh, are we crashing? We're crashing. No, we're not crashing. Although we're also not resizing, so that's fun. Now, if worst comes to worst, we can always program it to move up. Hmm. Oh. Starting to think you're the next model from OpenAI. I don't have 5 fingers, you do. Wait a minute. um what is happening here? You know, if I was actually an AI, I would just conjure up some major bullshit function that will just solve this problem. And it will be done. And it would just be like, yeah, that's totally a thing. If only. I'll make the finish the game button. Cool. Why? Oh, why? Okay. Grow. Direction. Let's take a look. Layout direction. Automatic layout direction determines from parent control layout direction. Automatic layout direction. Maybe they move this functionality to a different node. Let's see. Grow. Okay, that's base material. Grow direction. Grow horizontal, grow vertical. That, I think, is what I'm looking for. Controls the direction of the vertical axis in which the control should grow if its vertical minimum size is changed to be greater than its current size. Vertical minimum size. Greater, as the control always has to be at least the minimum size. Interesting. So there is a grow direction. There clearly is a grow direction. It doesn't say that it's depreciated. So, am I stupid? Okay. Maybe I am. Okay, let's try this. So maybe that property isn't exposed in the inspector. It used to be. Maybe the Godot devs have forgotten to do it. But let's do this. We're gonna take this. Okay. I'm actually so glad that any control node can now do clip contents, because that shit is super useful. Okay, so we know that this has a 0 size, and then we know the inventory has a particular dimension of its own, which is right here. Now this dimension cannot be smaller because there's nodes inside of it that force it to not be smaller. So what if I do this? What if I talk to the inventory container and I tell its custom minimum size to go to either 0 or to whatever number this is. Okay, now let's go to the player. Inventory. Okay, now where do we open the inventory? Let's take a look at the variables. Hey, there's a variable here. Nice. Okay, so here's where we open and close it. So we can use that. We also have, I believe we must have an inventory process here. Yeah, yes, there we go. All right. Cool, so inv size y is going to be equals to 0 if 0.0 preferably, if inventory is not open, else it is going to borrow the size from this node. Ooh, okay, so what property is it? It's size. Ooh, okay, size.y. All right, now we will tell this to get its giblets, and by giblets I mean custom minimum size.y. To smoothly transition to inventory size y minus the current amount divided by, say, 5. Okay. Now, this should show us something expanding and contracting. Or we're going to see it crashing, because we probably have a bunch of code that depends on our inventory not being all kerfuffled. Hotbar count. Yup. Okay. Hotbar grid. Can we get a new location of this node? No? Okay. At least it's a variable. Inventory grid. This node. Alrighty. Let's see if this works. Okay, so it's expanding and it's contracting. The only thing now is that we need to make it expand and contract in the right direction. And I believe this has to be done on the hotbar panel. So we know that there's a property there. We're going to go here, or I guess before we do all the deferred stuff, talk to it, grow. Okay, now what was the property called? Grow vertical. And then control dot, what is the constant that we can use? Grow vertical has default is 1, controls the direction of the vertical axis. Okay. There should be some constants for us. Oh. Grow direction begin. Grow direction end. So if it's default to 1, then let's try 0. All right. Let's see here. Oh, really? Is that easy? Damn. Okay, I'll take it. Sure. I'll take it. We just need to fix up some cropping. All right, cool. Let's see. 104. Let's go over here. Set that as a size. Whew. Our note panel is in the way. All right. So got to fix up the dimensions, maybe the cropping here. Man. That shit was easy. Okay, so let's do, what do we gotta do? Can I go into the inventory slot and change this T for title? Or actually, let's just hide it. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's expand the top. We definitely need to redraw some of these. The resolutions are a little... Okay, expand the bottom. You know what? We gotta expand it plus a couple of additional components. Like couple of additional pixels. Let's take this. Set it to this one. Set it to 0. Okay. The VBox container needs to have no separation. There we go. I think that's about it. Okay. Boop. Beautiful. Okay, so we're just gonna give it a few extra pixels. Minimum size Y, so it's going to be size of the grid plus 5 pixels. Nice. It's looking good. And of course, it doesn't allow us our hotbar to go anywhere past the first slots because they're located in a completely different location. We don't need this. We just work with this now. Man, that's awesome. Okay, could we do something about the expandable texture? We don't need the actual inventory, as a matter of fact. We're gonna do something drastic. Inventory. Bye-bye. Woo! Oh boy. Ooh. Ooh. That's a lot of change. Okay, let's see if we can fix this up. Hotbar container. As a matter of fact, you know what? As long as we're here, why don't we drop something different? We don't actually have to set the zoom to 100%, I realize, because it will auto-correct itself. All right. So, mirror on the wall roar. Okay, nope, no pen pressure. Because fuck me, apparently. I'm not allowed to use pen pressure on my own goddamn tablet. Yuan? You better be watching this. Your shit sucks. I ain't gonna be recommending it. Fix your shit. Okay. So, from clipboard, excuse me, this doesn't need to change. Make a new tablet. Oof. Background layer. There we go. Now we got it. Okay. Now we need minimal amount of pizzazz here. How many times can I fuck up the same line? God damn. Hey, that looks nice. Okay. It's a little janky. My line control is just total ass. Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's fine. It has its own appeal to it. Let's get white. If we want a different color, we can always change it. And then we will do a multi-layer sample fill. Actually, let's grow the selection by 1 pixel, 1 pixel more, and now we can do the fill. Might have to make it grow here as well. All right. Cool. I think this looks better. Let's go Song of a Snotted. Child of the Ether. Child of the Ether, yes. Sprites UI. Hotbar new. Okay, now we need to crop the bejesus out of it. Okay. Okay, set this up here. Set this down here. And there we go. All right, let's get this exported. If anything, the slight uneven lines might play to the aesthetic. Let's go into sprites. Yes, UI. Pung. This is hotbar new. All right. So, hotbar. Oh. Interesting. Is it in the control? Oh, that's not even a thing. What the? Huh? Hotbar right there. That's not it though. Where's my hotbar? Hurt Vignette Tween. Oh, that's gone. But I think I did replace it with a proper tween instance. Hotbar panel. Okay, so what the heck is... Where's the thing that I was just mistaking for the hotbar? Oh well, okay. Hotbar panel, that's the one. Texture. Quick load. Hotbar new. Okay, now this has to be redone. Let's expand margins, actually. We don't need this. First, content margins. Okay, is that? Hold on. This isn't cropped in here. What the heck? Texture margins. Subrect. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. Bottom. And then right is going to be same as left. Well, that looks a little bit more appealing. Let's fix this up. So this would be a texture margin. Okay. Okay, did the rules change or something? Why is this not behaving the same way it was before? Oh, okay, there we go. So that's how this is gonna work. That doesn't look anywhere near the same. Unless the left... Oh yeah, hold on. I think the left needs to go to the center. So is the right. Oh, okay. Maybe left and right needs to be untouched. I think it's because I chose such a long piece right here. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Yeah, that looks so wrong. Hmm. Okay, that's the original. Okay. Hold on a second. Is it because the anchor is messed up? It doesn't look like it's affected by it. Hmm. You know, I think it's because the 9-patch rack doesn't have a way of setting up the inner margin to prevent it from stretching this bit. So I think this is not going to work. I think we're going to have to do something else. So we have to make a design that keeps expand margins, the 9-patch rack behavior in mind. I think that basically means doing something like this. So there's plenty of space here. There's plenty of space here. Okay. Just 4 images, 1 for each corner. Let them push out of the respective corner. Yes, that's another solution. I don't remember if that is something that is just a part of Godot, or if we have to code our own. Because I remember coding my own, and there's a reason why I'm trying to figure this out. I could code my own. I think Godot might actually have a dedicated node for specifically something like this. I think it's like a 9-patch container. Hold on a sec. 9-patch rect. Okay. 1 texture, patch margins, axis. Doesn't have the individual images. Okay. I'll just test this one out. If it works, it works. Okay. I mean, this one's even more intricate. But let's see. Actually. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's get back in here. Just until there. Bottom is the same. Okay, left is just here, right. Okay, so we just need to adjust the sides. So the sides are going to go up to here, and then up to here. I don't understand, why does it become so thick? It seems like it's zooming in on it. Oh yeah, what the heck is this? Hotbar control. I don't think we need any of that. Let me double check this. 9 patch rect. Hotbar. New. Hit bar. Okay. Okay, so edit region. That's basically what it is. Except... Can't undo in here. That's lovely. So you see the corners are unaffected, but they are affected. They became huge. Okay. Unless I can do something like this. Suppose that could technically work. There's no edit region button here. Would have been lovely. Okay. Okay, so what are these? Oh, what are these? I think that's the alignments. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Okay, left. I'm going to take it right up to here. Right. Right there. Bottom. Just until this, and then top. Just until that. That's what we got. Looks like ass. Just the top. Just the bottom. Yeah. Maybe we don't adjust the top or the bottom. Maybe the top and the bottom stays the same because our inventory only grows up and down. So what if we do this? Left and right. And then once it grows, left 27, right 27. There we go. It's still taking up like a massive amount of space. Let's go. Okay. Consider separating the background with the border. I'm considering. I sure am considering. Considering drinking some water. Why are you crashing? What have I ever done to you? I can't close you because then I won't see the error. Canvas, inventory, drag container, no more. This is not necessary. There we go. Then can have empty in the middle, just like the corners. Position. Oh boy. Okay. Anytime we have drag container, we need to remove this. Now on the bright side, we've just massively simplified our code. On the bright side. It still stretches it. Ooh, that's the wrong property. Oh yeah, it stretches it because the top and bottom haven't been defined. Top. Bottom. Like that. Now. Take this. And take that. It still looks like ass. I just want to figure out what the logic, what the rhyme or reason behind this is. So it's not stretching the important bit, at least. I swear this has got to be some sort of an incorrect order of properties that I'm using. There's no reason for it to be stretching this thing this hard. Can't put a negative number here, right? Nope. Okay. Content margin. Maybe we don't use content margins. Hold on. Maybe we set it to this. This. Top. Oh, no, it's 50. Don't lie to me. This. And then we... Nope. Thought I had something. There's no way they would program Godot to not properly scale this. Like this would be just utterly stupid. Which is why I reserve the conclusion that I'm stupid. Edit region. Okay. So that's using the inside region. Okay. Okay, expand left doesn't do anything. Content margin, no. Okay, so let's keep looking at it. Okay, I don't need to stretch it, do I? Nope. Hmm. Hey, that's cool. Styling it. It's not what I need, though. Draw center. Hmm. Well, that's close to what I drew. Okay, so what do I do here? Thin at the top, kind of closer to the quarters on the sides. Okay. It's still so thick. But I guess technically here. Yeah, if we had like 5 slots, this would look perfect. Why are you making it so gosh darn ginormous? Like, if we had scale, if we could scale it down, it would be perfect. Can we scale it down without affecting the slots? Yeah, of course. I mean, look, that's perfect. That's literally what I want. Why can't I have this? Whew. I really don't want to build one from individual images. Mm, maybe I can scale up the slots. Yeah, it's stupid. Which again, I want to give it the shadow of the doubt. Okay? I want to give it a chance. That's why I'm leaving a speck of, just a tiny little speck of hope that it's just me setting up the region incorrectly. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then I need to set up content margin. Let's see, inventory container, VBox container. So I'll have to scale this up to twice the size, which may end up blowing up this whole thing. Let's do scale. I can't adjust the scale because it's a container node. Okay, hold on. Can I scale this? Nope. Can I scale this? Sure. Nope. Actually, I can't. God damn it. Scale contents. Clip contents. Expand. Hmm. Maybe I will have to expand the slots themselves. Hold on a sec. Can I? I might not be able to because, again, it's in the container. Nope. No can do. Oh, actually, hold on. Layout direction? Nope. No can do, because it's located inside of a container node, and that container is inside of a container, and this container inside a container. So, big fat middle finger. Okay. I could, hypothetically, fake it. It'll be stupid. But if it works, you know what they say. Okay, yeah. And the anchor is not going to work correctly because the scaling is messed up. Okay. Whoa. Easy. That's a little bit much. Okay, so let's change type to container, or I guess control node. Okay, so styling is all gone. That's fine. Actually, change type. Just do a container. No, okay, I'm gonna do a panel container, sure. Panel container, back it is. We'll give it a style box empty. Okay, we'll shrink it down just to the size of this thing and place it down here. Now, technically, the expansion should still work. Let's see. Yes. Which that looks kind of cool. Kind of a no bullshit, no pizzazz hotbar. Yeah, okay. So let's get rid of that. Here's the idea. So we take this container, we'll place into it another panel container. I guess this could just be a panel. We'll place it above, so it's behind. We give it a what? Oh, we can't scale it down to half the size. Oh, testing my patience. Okay, we can't scale it down to half the size. So this has to be, in that case, just a control node, not a container. Is that expansion still going to work, though? Technically it shouldn't, because control nodes don't expand. Or maybe this one will, because we coded it. Nope. It's gonna do a big ol' nada. I believe if I make it a regular panel, it's not going to actually expand either. Yup. Oh, actually it does. Hold on. Nope. Doesn't want to expand. Alright, let's try this. What if the image is half its resolution? Well, it's still gonna stretch it. What if it's double its resolution? Hmm. Okay. Let's go one more. Actually, yes. No. Let's just save this. Style box texture. Okay, so I can't quite explain the logic behind it, but I'm thinking that maybe it doesn't have enough data, so it just stretches it. So top, bottom, left, and right. Okay. And then we go here. Never you mind. Oh. Okay. But if I go half resolution, it's going to be pixelated as shit. Okay, hold on a sec. Now, increasing the resolution does seem to affect it. Hold on a sec. That's weird. Following this image, I get totally different numbers than if I use this. Maybe that's what I should be using this whole time? Oh, did we do it? Oh, what the heck? It's going in the opposite direction. But maybe. No, it's just stretching the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, oh, well, back in to the beginning of it. Okay, you know what? I think I'll just work with it being stretched. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Like, this looks like the slot that I want. Am I editing the right area? I'm pretty sure I am. It is the global hotbar. Let me just shrink it. Axis stretch. That's for like repetition or tiling. Which, let's see what that looks like. I think we'd have to set up regions for that to actually do anything. Yeah. Expands the left margin of the style box when drawing, causing it to be drawn larger than requested. Okay, hold on a second. What if I don't do content margin, and instead I do expand margin? So I do left, push it out, right, push it out, top, push it out, bottom, push it out. Okay. Now we'll see what happens when we set up the expand margins here. So maybe it's either content margin or setting up the 9 patch rect regions, but not both. Okay. Okay, so now ooh, yeah, that's a. I don't think that's it, Chief. Controls layout direction and text writing direction. Automatic layout direction determines from the parent. Container sizing. But that's dictating to the parent. Yes. Okay. I'm out of ideas too. This is stupid shit, man. Oh boy. Okay. You know what? For now, we'll just work with stretching. I'll figure out something. Worst comes to worst, I'll just program custom solution. Okay. We'll just work with stretching for the time being. Stupid thing ate up like an hour. Yeah. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second. What if, when you're designing the panel, you're supposed to design it in its expanded state, And then when you set up the regions, it contracts. So what if we do resize canvas? Okay, so we'll do, I suppose we don't have to work in double resolution now. Let's do this. Resize canvas. We're going to resize it from the center times 4. Okay, like this. Cool. I'm going to set up, what's the dimension right now? 752 on the height. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Resize canvas. Let's go for an even 750. I'm going to use a guideline at 50 pixels and 700 pixels. Like that. We're going to take this top piece, move it up, and then we're going to let that bottom few pixels of the ornament touch the edge, and then let's do the same thing over here. Okay, nice. Okay, now just gonna fill this. No grow direction or grow whatsoever. Okay, I think we might have messed up here. Here, there we go. All right, so I'm just gonna take what? I guess I could just take half. Move it down. Take this, move it up. And now I'm gonna keep it more or less straight. Okay. Okay, here we go. So now we'll take this. Hotbar new. Yep. Go back here. Cool. Okay, so now go to the region. Set up this just beneath here. This goes, technically it doesn't matter where that one goes. We don't stretch it on the x-axis. This one goes here. Okay, and then reset all this. Technically, I think we need to set it to 0, 0, 0, 0 for starters. That doesn't seem like it's the solution. Again, it's like it's super stretching it. See, it's working. It's working, but it's just super stretching it. It's not supposed to do that. Hmm. Yeah. Well, that would have been great if that was the solution. Okay. You know what? That's fine. We'll figure this out some other time. For now, I think we've done what we set out to do, which is get the merchant to work. I'm happy with that. We'll just call it for today. Take our losses before we sink any more time into it. Cool. All right.